Hey, what is up mortals? ObsidianZed here, and before we get into today's video, there's something I'd like to say. I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if you didn't know, only 25% of you are subscribed to us, so please hit that subscribe button and click that bell icon. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the video. In this deep dive, we'll be explaining Endeavour from My Hero Academia. Inji Todoroki, also known as the Flame Hero Endeavour, is the pro hero with the most solved cases in history, and father to Shoto, Fuyumi, Natsuo, and Toya. After the retirement of All Might, the former number 2 hero officially rose to rank 1 in the JP Hero Billboards chart. Inji was 45 years old during his first appearance in the anime and is currently 46 years old. He is born on the 8th of August and is 195 centimeters or 6 foot 4 and 1/4 inches tall and weighs 118 kilograms. He has a muscular physique and has short and spiked crimson hair. His eyes are sharp and turquoise in color. His beard and mustache appear to be formed by flames from his quirk. His hero costume is a dark navy blue jumpsuit with flames streaming across his chest, upper torso, arms, and shoulders. He utilizes his flame quirk to form a makeshift mask around his eyes, and his boots seem to be made of flames or are always on fire. He wears white bracers on his lower arm and a blue belt on his waist with a pouch on both sides. After becoming the number 1 hero, Endeavor's costume was improved, and his bracers now resemble armor and completely encase his arms. On the back of his hands are handguards that have a set of holes to emit a torrent of infernos if the situation calls for it. His fingers are also exposed from the base of his knuckles. His suit has broad stripes running across his torso, with flames filling the spaces between each stripe. Endeavour also included new shoulder pads and a new belt, which appear to be made of the same material as his bracers and displays the kanji for flame on it. During his battle against the Nomu Hood, the left side of his face was severely damaged after being hit by a surprise attack. After receiving surgery and healed by Recovery Girl's quirk, his eye was shown to be alright but was left with a giant, jagged scar reaching from his hairline to the bottom of his chin. His son, Shoto, described Endeavour as a prideful and ambitious man, solely driven by his goal to surpass the number 1 hero, All Might. This obsessive drive has followed Endeavour throughout his life, with repeated failure that has plagued him since his childhood. Dedicated solely to his studies and hero work, Endeavour strived to become the absolute strongest pro-hero in the country. Still, he could not surpass All Might, who proved himself too great of an obstacle for him or anyone else to surpass, leaving Endeavour in a state of despair as he grows more aware of the fact that closing the gap between him and the symbol of peace was futile. As a result, he turned into a cold, callous person who did not care for anything but his own impossible dream. Endeavour's quirk allows him to create and control large quantities of extremely intense flames at his will. He appears to be immune to other types of flames and can easily control the shape and temperature of the blaze as well. The mastery of his quirk enables Endeavour to utilize his flames in unusual methods, which include concentrating flames to his feet to allow flight. He has been shown shaping his infernos into long-range and melee weapons, such as when he utilized a spear made of fire to strike the Nomu. Excessive usage of his power will overheat his body, causing a depletion of stamina and an impairment of his physical functions. Endeavour was aware of his limitations, but due to his stubborn nature, he never once thought about relinquishing his wish, desiring to accomplish it at all costs, even if passing his aspirations to another person was necessary. As a way to balance the downside of his Hellflame quirk, he sought to have a child with an Ice quirk user, to create someone that could inherit his will. By doing so, Endeavour would not only have his quirk be inherited, but also his training and experiences by a perfect successor. Endeavour would prove himself to be rather cruel and abusive as a father and husband, with his actions negatively affecting his youngest child, Shoto, who he considered to be his masterpiece, a tool that possessed all the traits to surpass All Might's abilities and nothing else. As a result, Endeavour focused all his hopes on Shoto, forcing him through incredibly harsh training from a young age and showing little to no concern for his wishes. The rest of his children were ignored by him and perceived as failures that were not allowed to interact with Shoto. When his wife had a mental breakdown and attacked Shoto with boiling water, Endeavour sent her away to the psychiatric ward, solely to prevent her from getting in the way of Shoto's growth. Now, before we get back into the dive, I'd like to say that in case you didn't know, we are a secondary channel to our main channel, We the Celestials. We the Celestials is full of fun what-if stories, so if you have the sugar tooth for great storytelling, please give that channel a visit as well. If you're interested in the content we share with all channels, make sure you click the icon in the top right corner or check the description below for a link to that channel. Now, with that out of the way, let's get back into the dive. After the Camino incident, which resulted in the retirement of All Might, and thus Endeavour's rise to the position as the number 1 hero, Endeavour's character changed considerably. Endeavour's interest in the title of the strongest hero was always based on earning it through merit, valuing the work he had invested in attaining the number 1 position more than the position itself. As such, he became furious after reaching the top through a technicality. Endeavour feels that his efforts from a lifetime were now wasted. For as much as he disliked his longtime rival All Might, Endeavour still respected his abilities as the greatest hero, to the point of refusing to believe the fact that the real All Might was a sick and pathetic-looking man. Sensing a rise of unrest in a society that had recently lost their symbol of peace, Endeavour began questioning his role and duty as the #1 hero. After talking with the former symbol of peace who enlightened him regarding what it means to be the #1 hero in the world, Endeavour started displaying regrets over the way he had treated his family up to that point, having never considered what was best for them instead of only thinking about what was best for himself. He begins to learn more about his family and begins to visit his wife frequently, and wishes to become an actual father figure for his kids, even if they still reject him for all that he had done, all in an attempt to correct his past mistakes. It has been displayed that behind his blindness and determination to become #1, he loves his family deeply and cares for them. Because of this, he does not hold any ill will towards any of his family members, accepting whatever criticisms they give him and accepts that his family may never forgive him for his past mistakes. As a pro-hero, Endeavour is depicted to be confident, reliable, and imposing, thanks to his excellent track record of solved cases. His rude and aggressive personality was well known to the general public, with his fans thinking of it as his selling point. In contrast, others were terrified by his overall violent attitude. Endeavour hates being compared to All Might, as he's always painted unfavorably towards the former #1 hero. Endeavour was ranked second amongst all of Japan's heroes before taking the #1 spot due to All Might's retirement. He was also proficient in handling his very powerful quirk, Hellflame. Endeavour fights by utilizing his flames to overwhelm his foes with extreme levels of heat. His attacks include flamethrowers, heat rays, and fists of fire, among other options. Hellflame can also be used to stop Endeavour from falling or suspend him in mid-air by expelling jets of fire through the soles of his feet. He can also emit flames from his back to fling himself forward. This ability can also be used as a reverse thrust in the event that Endeavour needs to dodge an attack. Endeavour utilizes low-temperature flames and weaker opponents as a warning shot that usually disables his targets or to reduce the strain on his body. Endeavour increases the heat whenever he needs to finish off the opponent. High-temperature attacks are only used to defeat foes definitively, as they raise Endeavour's body temperature significantly. This is a high-risk tactic that yields high rewards, which can backfire if he uses too many of these techniques. Endeavour is a very powerful hero. This was proven in his fight against the League of Villains. Endeavour can take on and defeat multiple mid- and low-end Nomus without sustaining any injuries, for which he was praised by All For One, who has been regarded as the greatest villain. During the Camino incident, Endeavour displayed his camaraderie and mettle by tag-teaming with Edgeshot to help a struggling All Might in subduing All For One and emerging unscathed. When he fought against Hood, one of the strongest Nomu, Endeavour, with the help of Hawks, was able to damage and overcome the high-end Nomu, overwhelming him in combat despite having the physical disadvantage, ultimately defeating Hood. After years of training, Endeavour possesses incredible physical strength, but despite that, his power is not even close to the level of All Might. The force behind his punches were strong enough to break apart Eyeless Nomu's arm and send him flying several meters. Endeavour also possesses incredible durability, as shown when he was capable of withstanding being thrown into several buildings in his battle against Hood, who was using numerous quirks. Endeavour is also far more resistant to pain than the average pro hero, as seen when he kept standing up, despite receiving a significant number of attacks from Hood to the point where his body should have been unable to move. One of Endeavour's most significant traits is his inability to give up, which is fitting for his hero name. This was shown during 2 instances, where he continues to fight to bridge the gap between him and the symbol of peace regardless of their differences in abilities, and when he continues to push beyond his limits and his injuries in his battle against Hood. Endeavour has extraordinary intelligence, having used it to tally up the most resolved criminal cases in history. Endeavour has very keen deductive skills, shown when he deduced that Deku had a powerful quirk that is similar to All Might's after only seeing it be used briefly. During the Hosu incident, Endeavour understood the nature of the Four-Eyed Nomu's absorption and release quirk, and took note that the creature still retained damage from his low-temperature attacks that he had used even after the Nomu redirected it back at him. Against the Eyeless Nomu, Endeavour witnessed its ability to regenerate from damage and was able to swiftly decide that the optimal action would be to destroy the Nomu's cells to prevent regeneration. Throughout his battle against Hood, Endeavour displayed more of his intelligence as he analyzed the situation against Hood, while simultaneously fighting it. While battling against the high-end Nomu, Endeavour successfully calculated all 6 quirks that were in Hood's repertoire of abilities. Endeavour's super move, Flash Fire Fist, which is his signature move where he raises his flame's temperature to its most significant level and maximizes his power. Doing so, the flame hero can unleash a devastating flame attack or increase his speed dramatically. He has variations of his Flash Fire Fist, which are Jet Burn, where Endeavour shoots a blast of fire at his desired target. This attack is potent, as it even damaged the high-end Nomu and sent him soaring out of the building. According to Endeavour, this move cannot be used too frequently, as it increases his body temperature a lot. Hellspider, where Endeavour sends out long, thin blasts of flames from the tips of his fingers, which he can use as a blade to cut through his target. He can slice the upper half of a skyscraper into many pieces using this attack. Like the previous move, this attack cannot be used too frequently. And Hell's Curtain, where Endeavour throws his fist back while concentrating all of his flames into a single point. He then flings his arms forward, emitting a massive blanket of fire towards his opponent. He also has Karmic Rays, Hellfire Storm, where he creates a powerful flaming whirlwind that burns opponents within its range, and Prominence Burn, where he launches a massive concentrated beam of fire from his entire body that can vaporize his target. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now there are a few more things I'd like to go over before the video ends. First, I'd like to remind you that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, I'd like to thank our $5 and up Patreon supporters for helping to fund these videos. Lastly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video as well as the editor for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you are a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're even interested in becoming one of these, go to the Discord in the description in the video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for new members to join us. That's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you like the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have an amazing day.